Hey guys, hey, guess what? Today is October 1st, and guess who's launching our podcast today? Me. Okay, so guess what? Here's the deal. I'm going to start this episode off. The wonderful thing about like a podcast is that you can just be yourself on here, and I think that's exactly what I'm going to be. So you're going to see all things, all levels of me. I'm going to be serious. I'm going to be emotional. I will be animated because I'm extremely animated. So you'll see different sides of me. I do expect to bring on some amazing people on the show. So check this out. First off, though, I want to kick this thing off by telling you a little bit about me. So, April Patterson, born and raised Compton, California, mom of 3 amazing daughters, and I'm just getting my hustle on. And I think the premise of the show is actually to like highlight those amazing individuals that are actually getting their hustle on and they're figuring out life. Every step of the way is something challenging. It's like a scary thing to be an entrepreneur. And so I thought I'm going to just create a platform where I bring on other entrepreneurs who can talk about their walk. Some who have actually figured it out and have made it, and they're, celebrities or influencers, or, maybe you're a real estate beast in the industry and you just stumbled upon that because, so that's a little teaser. I have an amazing person coming on who is a community. He's creating, as we speak, an amazing community for the South Side of Chicago. I can't wait to bring him on and have that conversation. His story is just truly amazing. And then there are individuals like fashion icons, right? Folks who have been on Project Runway. I can't wait. I'm so excited. So you guys tune in for that. So look, a little bit about me. But before I forget, please click the subscribe button. Please. So here's the deal. I'm going to give you a little bit about myself. And at first I was like, I'm going to just sit here and I'm going to be womp and just talk. That's super boring. I'm going to say what I have to say and then I'm going to skedaddle because you don't want to listen to me just talk all day, every day. So the plan is to bring you a show, like to upload a show probably every other week. I'm kind of new starting out, so I'll need to create, develop my content and all the things. And so I'll try to create a schedule that is pretty consistent. But for starters, it's going to be a little bumpy, and nothing exciting, more exciting than to actually have you all on this journey with me. Because you know what? It's not a cookie cutter situation over here. Like I am learning as I go, but that's okay. Because that to me is what makes it exciting. So here's the deal. April Patterson, the host and creator of Respectfully April, the podcast. And I'm really just a chick from Compton, born and raised, lived all over South Central Los Angeles. My mom's number one goal, was to keep me out of the hood. She did not want me to become a product of my environment. And it worked. Now I'm still a little hood though. I still do have a lot of hood in me actually. But code switching is real. And you know what? We're going to talk about the code switching thing too. Not on this episode, but I do want to let you know that is a real thing. I do it all the time. Code switch all the time. Still true to my roots, but in some spaces I just can't enter into the conference room like crip walking. Like that wouldn't be cool. Well, I guess I could, but I don't know. Maybe I might try that. So anyway, so check this out. So born and raised in Compton, went to, some of the neighborhood schools for elementary and junior high and things like that. And then my mom was like, listen, I'm going to bust you out to the valley. You need some diversity in your life. I need to make sure that, I create that space and that opportunity for you. And she did. And I'm super grateful to her for that. Like I thank her for that. While I do not have childhood friends because I moved so much, I 100% have no doubt that she saved my life by moving me as much as she did. Excuse me, because I was fascinated with hood stuff. I liked, being in that fast life type of situation. It was fascinating. And so I figured out, wait, hold on. because I'm on a podcast now. All of a sudden I have to cough. Like, what in the name? So anyway, I'm recording this show live, guys. I'm telling you. So, and it's unscripted. So anything could happen on my show. Like, seriously. So if the phone rings, ignore that. I do have it on Do Not Disturb, but sometimes I may forget. So anyway, my mom, she was like super, she is still alive, guys. Let me stop that. So my mom back in the day was very diligent about making sure I did not become a product of my environment. So therefore I moved around a lot. She actually is the reason why I ended up on the career path that I did as an executive assistant. And I'll tell you a little bit about that. So back in the day, my mom used to work in like, Bank of America legal department way back, long time ago. And I was a young mom, needed a break, needed to just a break in life. Like, okay, so because I was a young mom, I actually had my first daughter when I was 21 years old. And so my mom was like, okay, I'm going to expose you to the corporate world. Like, you need this in order to make it. So I'm like, okay, that's cool. So I was a clerk in the Bank of America legal department. I learned a lot about how to be in a business setting at the age of 22. So my mom actually laid the foundation for me entering into the corporate world. I was there for like a couple of years, ended up, because now I've had a taste of it, right? So now I want more. And that's a lot. That's my personality. That's why being an entrepreneur for me really works, because I'm always evolving. I'm always figuring out how can I level up. So she exposed me to that at the age of 22. And then at the age of 25, I was managing like Mrs. Fields cookies, and then not 25, take it back. No, because I was married at 25. But so 22, managing Mrs. Fields cookies, raising my daughter, living on my own, figuring out life, and landing some really good, foundational roles, like being a receptionist. These are things I think that people don't understand. A receptionist, a clerk, any administrative staff that is down doing the day-to-day tasks to run an office or to help an office be organized, those individuals, the people like me, they learn so much because they're exposed to every aspect of the business. And so, as a clerk, I was exposed to reading depositions and interrogatories and learning, legal terminology. And, at least for me, that was my experience. And I think mainly it's because I would put myself in situations where I was extremely inquisitive growing up. So I would ask the attorneys questions all the time. And so just to advance my vocabulary, even, my mom, she would say, gosh, she would always say, I remember as a kid, she would say to me, you have a very advanced vocabulary. And it was because, number one, I read a lot. Number two, I asked a lot of questions, tons of questions. So I say all that to say that even though I started out as a clerk, as a young mom, I was still very, very, very intentional about leveling up. So being exposed to that business, into that business setting, it literally planted a seed wait, I don't have to be a product from a hood chick, or nothing wrong with being a hood chick because I love it, but meaning I can have more than just what I see in the hood. And so from there, I started applying for receptionist positions because I was done being a clerk. I was tired of that. I was tired of pushing paper and mail and all that. I just was no, I'm better than that. So now I just want to not that being a clerk, there's something wrong with that. But I'm saying for me, I knew that it was time for me to take it to the next level. So I did. And I decided that, oh, it's so cool. I want to be a receptionist. I'm still young. So I'm thinking, this is great. This huge switchboard, with all of the numbers that I had to memorize, and I talked to so many different people. And so because I love to talk, which is why I have a podcast, I was exposed to meeting a lot of pretty influential individuals. And I just remember like people would call the switchboard, very important people. And I would end up having like little mini conversations with them about what they did. And so that was very, at a young age, that I remember that really making a huge impact on me. And it then I'm like, gosh, I want to do that. So a lot about my personality is this. If I see something that's super intriguing and I'm like, oh, I like that, I'm probably gonna, is that number one, is it passion related, or is it like I'm just kind of wondering, or did it just spark a curiosity? So, I do my research and I love to research. So I was like, yeah, I remember talking to a lawyer, and they said they started out as a receptionist and they put themselves through college, but then they now became a lawyer. So I'm like, well, maybe I should be a receptionist. Not that I wanted to be an attorney, because I didn't, but clearly it's going to give me some sort of exposure and open that door for me in the corporate world, where I will end up somewhere great. So as a kid, that was my thought process. So anyway, I did go to college. I went to college for a couple of years, got my AA, became a mom, took a couple of classes, never got my bachelor's, but I was exposed to the corporate world. So I had so many amazing people around me, and they just started pouring into me. And one day I was asked, how do you feel about being an administrative assistant? And I didn't even know what that was. I'm like, well, what is that? Well, you would type letters and you would respond to, you would open the mail and you would answer the phones, but it would be for like with other ladies in a pool. It would be a pool of you all helping the office to be organized. And I thought, ooh, that sounds important. Sure. So I interviewed for the job and I got the job. And so that was really, really cool. That I learned the ropes of how to schedule meetings and be a little more, I had to dress the part. So, wearing suits and heels and all of the things. And, now I felt like, wow, okay, so now I'm really making some money. Was decent, so salary was like a little more, which for, my age, I think at the time I was probably 24 years old. It was like, okay, this is kind of, I'm on to something here. So I go, so now fast forward into like my later years, I ended up going, being a clerk, like just a clerk at the Bank of America legal department, to now administrative assistant, to junior executive assistant, to executive assistant, to executive assistant team lead. This was my journey in life. And so for the last 25 years, that is the brand that I created for myself. And so as an executive assistant who has created a brand for herself in that space, when COVID happened, I decided to launch my own business. And it was the best thing that I could have ever done. And here's the deal. As an entrepreneur, I don't think that people understand that being an entrepreneur, there's more to it than just, it's sexy, right? To say I'm an entrepreneur. Well, there's more to it than that. There's more to owning a business. If you're not figuring out how to scale your business, making the right connections, making moves in doing this, understanding that you're going to fail a lot, then you've got it all jacked up, because I fail quite a bit. I just do. But guess what? I get up and I try again. A true entrepreneur, you don't stop. You're constantly working. You're not just working in 8 to 5 every single day, every second of the day. If you're not at the store and you meet someone and you don't talk about your business, then, or what you do, or engage with people, because that's what an entrepreneur is. It is about a person. They never stop. They're always evolving. And so I figured out early on that I had that, in me to be. I just didn't know how to go after it. And so the show Respectfully April the platform is going to be where I bring individuals on who they've rocked it out. They understand, they've made it, and they're going to provide tips on how you, the listeners, encourage you all to go after your dream. That's the point. And provide some tips. Like maybe you are a real estate person and you want to develop this big community and you just don't know how to, get started. So maybe you love fashion and you want to figure out, well, how exactly and you're already in the fashion industry, but you're having a hard time with propelling yourself to the next level. I will have an individual who's going to come on who actually was on Project Runway. Super excited about that. And so I'm going to have some amazing people on the show. And that's really it. I think as my listeners, what you guys will recognize is that this show is going to evolve before your very eyes. The production will become a little more sophisticated. I'll tweak things along the way. I'll keep them short and sweet because I want you guys to continue to come back. But I'm absolutely going to wow you and you're going to enjoy the show, right? So I'm going to always try to do what I can to keep it exciting. So that's me in a nutshell. You'll learn more about me in my talks when I interview my guests, right? So I just wanted to give you a brief synopsis of who I am so that you can see into who I am. Like this is going to be a really cool show. So I just want to say thank you for listening. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and tell your friends. And I'll see you next time. The next episode is going to be Mr. Philip Beckham III. Mr. Philip Beckham III is currently in the process of creating a dynamic, low-income, high-rise on 43rd Green. That's what it's called, 43rd Green. He is a pretty interesting guy. So I am having him on my show, and I'm super excited about it. And so I can't wait to talk to you guys. There's some other people coming too. But at the end of each episode, I think I'm just telling you that's who's up next. That's who got next, y'all. That's who got next. All right. So this is April Patterson of Respectfully April, your podcast host. So cool. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. And I will talk to you next time on wherever you get your podcast. Thank you for watching.